Bienvenida and welcome to a special episode of Spirit of Avalor with your host Lauren.
And Becca.
And today we have a treat for all you guys. No, it's not Avaloran chocolate, although that would be cool, and I'm pretty sure there is a recipe out there for it.
Yeah.
Since there's a recipe out there for everything else they make, because it's all real food.
Yes, it is.
Minus the Jackman cookies, which do have a recipe. I think it's like Disney.com/Elena or something. You can look up different stuff, and if it's not on there, check the Fiction Cafe, because that's where they have all the core food. Well, I digress, but
yeah.
Point being, at least this food is real. So.
Yep.
And so, but anyway, so our treat for everyone is that we got to interview Craig Gerber.
Yes.
And as you know, he is the creator, founding father, all that, of Elena of Avalor and Sophia the First.
Yep.
And so, basically, as you know, we didn't even talk about Sophia in this interview at all. The last one we did talk about her a little bit, but this one just felt his elder daughter, so it was a lot more fun, and it was really cool, and so
it was amazing.
Oh yeah, it was very amazing. We have two guests on, him and then our friend Kate, who really loves both shows and wanted to talk with Craig for a long time, so I brought her on as a gift to her. So she's really cool.
Yep. So it was fun having her on.
Oh yeah. So I just want to put a disclaimer out there for all of you listening who are Issa's age and under, that there are some things in here that may not be suitable for you guys. There's no swearing, there's no obscene talk or anything like that, but there are some subjects that, depending on any situation, maybe a little bit upsetting, so that deal with like medical stuff and things like that. So just forewarning you guys, listen at your own discretion. So before we get into the interview, I want to go into some news that Craig told us. We are getting more episodes this month. On the 24th is Science and Fair.
Yep. Which
is going to be awesome. It's sort of a sister-centric episode, but kind of more of an Issa-centered episode, so it's sort of like 2 in 1.
Yeah.
And then the other storyline will run parallel to that. Get out of my head, Umberfud. Really. You're not welcome to this podcast. Anyway, and the official synopsis for that is that Isabel enters the science fair with her friends, but ignores Elena's advice about teamwork and tries to do everything on her own. So, and then the song that we're getting in that has already been released. It was released last year, September 22nd, if I'm not mistaken, called Hand in Hand. It's another sister duet. So, which I really love. So
yeah, too. It's such an awesome song.
Yes, it is. It is so amazing.
It is.
So, and then on March 10th, we are getting an episode called Shape Shifters, and we don't know anything about it. As far as summary, all we do know is that this is the episode where Elena pretty much goes into a rap battle with her grandparents, and Naomi is on her side. Esteban is probably sitting there scowling as the girls are doing this, and Francisco raps. This is going to be awesome. I cannot wait to hear this.
Awesome.
This is just going to be fantastic on a lot of levels, because if you remember, for those of you who listened or watched the Music of Avalor panel back in, I want to say last year,
Yeah, it was July.
Yeah, July of last year, Amy was terrified to do this, and the rap, not the panel, and she expressed that on Twitter, and I ended up tweeting at her and just throwing some encouragement her way pretty much. And obviously she finally did it. It's done. It's recorded. It's arranged. It's all that. And we are finally going to get to hear the finished product. And I, for one, I'm very excited.
Me too. Me too. It's going to be so awesome.
And if Esteban starts to actually fight with her this way, it is going to be hilarious. I will be sitting there laughing my head off.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
So then we are getting Rise of the Sorceress on March 4th? 3rd. Sorry guys, it's 3rd. I'm very bad with dates and numbers. It's the 3rd. So, going along with that, there is nothing good to say about this episode. And I don't mean that in the way it sounded. It's probably going to be amazing, but there's nothing good that happens in this episode for our girl or her familia or, well, probably by extension Naomi, give or take. So, you'll hear in the interview that we talk about it a little bit, and well, you'll hear how Craig reacts to what I have to say about it, and let's just say everyone should be afraid.
Yep. Yes.
So,
that everyone should be worried for Elena.
Yes, that's what we mean. Yes. And oh my gosh, you know what just came to me?
What?
And I love just going off like that and talking with you and us just sitting here and just...
Yes.
What if Rise of the Sorceress... What if it's a flashback episode to... like, for us to see everything? As in, her first arriving... I mean that was things we've seen before, but maybe we get a chance to see the scene in the Gardenia with Elena and Issa and the Jacqueline feeder and her telling her to go get washed up and stuff, and then obviously
oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
I know, and heartbreaking because we know it's coming, but
and then Elena hearing the carriage and running.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So. Yep, Craig, we speculate and we basically make up our own ideas for your daughter, so.
Yeah.
It's all in love.
Me too.
But yeah, oh my gosh.
If that ends up happening, that's going to be the most heartbreaking scene.
I know. Along with what we know probably happens at the end of Science and Fair,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's pretty much the news, pretty much. We're getting that stuff. We don't know when a soundtrack's coming out. People have asked in the group, and, I don't know. We did ask him, as you will hear, but we don't have any answers. He doesn't have any answers. He just wants to throw everything. You'll hear what he says about the music, but I wish he had more control, because all he wants to do is throw it up on iTunes for everyone just to buy everything.
Yeah.
Maybe not everything at once, but at least season songs throughout season 2 for now. And I say, go ahead, do it. We would buy it. We would support him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe not every song, but most of them.
Yeah. Totally.
And I just think it's a shame that they're not him, but that the department is being so selfish with all this stuff and is just wanting to throw it on compilations that no one else really cares about. And putting on albums that all we're going to do is buy those, and then everything else, you know, they should just put it on, they should just let her have her own, another soundtrack so we can buy at least 25 to 26 songs.
Exactly. Yeah. Because she's got 3 more seasons left.
Yeah, I know.
You know, like, and we're not even done with season 2 yet, so...
Yeah, and they've already released 2 songs that we're not even seeing in context till next year, or till the end of this year. So,
exactly.
But I just don't understand why they're doing this, because I mean, we love the music, we just...
Yeah, it's incredible.
Oh yeah. And, you know, we just want more of it. And, you know, as for Sophia's music, I know this isn't the podcast for her, but I figured I'd throw it in there just because it's, well, topic, that the only songs I really want out of what they have so far, like what they haven't released, are Lonnie's 2, Improvise, and a few others, and that is it. Like, I'm not interested in most of the ones they've done so far. I mean, that haven't been released.
Right.
Except for those, and then Just Me, My Mom as well, because that one's heartbreaking. Oh my gosh, I cried so hard when I first heard that.
Yeah.
But... And give a shout out to Ariel Winter, which we hardly ever do on this show. We haven't done that at all.
No.
That was probably your best performance ever, was in that song, and how much emotion you brought across in Sophia's voice. And it's just, you know, I for one could relate to it on a different level, but she, like, I just wanted to hug her, but at the same time I'm sitting there watching this and thinking, yeah, you know, I understand, honey, but they don't know what that's like. Like, Amber and James don't know what that's like. So, I mean, it's, you know. So, I mean, that was probably one of their best songs that they've done. It was before Know It All, because Know It All hadn't been released yet.
Right, yeah.
So, but those 2, along with Lonnie's, are probably the most emotionally charged songs they've ever done for that show. And they're just amazing, and they need to be released.
Yes.
Well, Know It All's out there, but the other 3 need to be released.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let's get back to Avalor here. So, sorry for the detour, you guys. But yeah, they just really need to get a move on it. And we would pay for these songs, so I had no idea. They would make money, so I had no idea what their problem is when they just don't trust us. And I mean, like, not just you and me, but the larger Disney community to help them out that way.
Yeah.
And just let us enjoy, you know, them and share them, and obviously, you know, purchase them and all. So they need to really get a move on and just give us more of both, more preferably Elena, but so I mean, if you wanted to put on a compilation album, bring out more, have Jodie do more songs for Ariel, have Leia do more for Jasmine. Like, I've got My Eyes on You, which is an incredible song, and it's beautiful and awesome. Do things like that, and then, you know, release it as a compilation. That makes more sense than putting on an album where most people don't watch the other shows at all.
Yeah.
So, there's an idea, you guys.
Yeah.
A few other princess albums.
Yep.
So.
Or give Elena her own soundtrack.
Yeah, a second soundtrack for her.
Second soundtrack.
Yep. I mean, I don't mind these extended playlists, but I want more than just 5 songs on them. Give us like 10 at least or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but with that said, rant over pretty much.
Yep.
So, basically, that's pretty much it. So we hope you enjoyed the interview.
Yes.
And give us feedback on Facebook, on Twitter, all that good stuff. You can even email us at spiritofAvalorpodcast@gmail.com. We love the emails. We want some of them so we can read them on the air like all those other podcast people get a chance to do.
Yeah.
Let's put a plug in there. Disney Vault Talk, the best magical podcast in the whole Go-Verse on the whole internet, actually. I love that podcast. It is incredible. It's run by two people who I like to call my friends, even though I don't know them that well, but I feel like I know them because I listen to them every couple of weeks. Teresa and Steve, they are incredible. They are funny. They are heartwarming. Go listen to them. And go download their podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Twitch, or whatever the heck that thing is. Just get it wherever you get podcasts. You won't regret it. It's just amazing. And along with sharing the memories and movies that you probably have seen, there are some movies that maybe you haven't seen that they'll review that'll make you want to actually watch them and see what they're about. Case in point with me and The Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
And so I end up listening to that one and watching the movie in descriptive that night, actually, and really liking it better than I had the first time I saw it. And I haven't seen it since before I saw it a couple months ago to a year ago. I hadn't watched it in about 16 years. So,
yeah. But I don't remember ever watching it.
It's actually really good. Yzma... And I usually don't have a favorite villain, give or take, but if I had, she would be it, because she is just hilarious.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
God rest her kid's soul, actually, but her character, oh my gosh, she is just so funny. So, I mean, there's something that is on the DVT email roll, as they call it, when they play the email music, that is so hilarious, and it's from the movie. And Yzma is talking about how she's going to turn Cusco into, is before she turns him into a llama by accident. And she wants to turn him into something really small. And she's like, I'll change him into a flea. Then I'll put that flea in a box, and I'll put the box in the box and mail it to myself and smash it with a hammer! Which is what I was thinking about while I was watching Finders Leapers for the first time. That's all I thought. I was like, put it in a box and smash it with a hammer, or Elena's scepter in this case. But wait, no. Smash two of them. Keep the one who was beating Esteban up. Keep him. Yeah. Oh man, yes, just keep him. And you know, Christian, how much we love you and how much we respect you. It's your character we don't like unless you give us a reason to. So we do want you on the podcast. We will be nice. We do really, really love you and what you stand for. So don't worry about it. You are awesome. So,
yes, you are.
And we want you on. We want Jillian on. And of course, we want Suma Hastad. We want you, Amy, on here. Because that would just be amazing.
Oh my gosh, that would be incredible.
Imagine if we can get both of them. Amy and Jenna together. No, I said Amy and Jenna together.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we can't get Jenna, I understand why. Like, maybe you could probably tell us a little bit about her. I mean, you know, all good things. All good things.
Yeah.
Okay, Olaf, you can get out of our podcast now. We really didn't ask for your help. Well, I like giving hugs. Yeah, go get them somewhere else. So, anyway.
Go see Elsa.
Yeah, really. So, all right. So, without further ado, here is the interview, and enjoy, you guys. And like I said, any feedback you can give, well, I just gave the ways. So, yeah, so go back and listen. And if you didn't listen, pay attention. All right, and we will see you next time for the next episode, which will be a speculation on Science Unfair.
Yep.
So, adios, and talk to you. See you next time.
Adios.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey. Oh, you can hear me.
Hello.
Hey. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm hearing you through my phone and not my iPad.
Okay.
I'm hearing you. Oh.
Oh.
I'm hearing you through Skype, but then again, I don't have a phone.
Okay. All right. So, Kate, Craig, Kate,
Yes.
say hi.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Again.
She has been wanting to talk with you, and I was like, "Yep, I'll bring her on as a gift for her."
Can you hear me, Lauren?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
I can hear you too.
Okay. So,
All right.
we're gonna get started with this. So, how was everyone's morning?
Good. Great so far.
Good.
Except for dreaming that I was late for this appointment.
I think we've all had those dreams, like back in high school, back in college, probably for you, Craig, probably maybe something at work that you need to do, and it was like, wait a minute, what if I'm late for that thing?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So Becca and I want to. Hey, Becky, you want to start out with "I've Got It Down," and then you can tell me your story.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually really funny. So we watched the Music of Avalor panel probably a dozen, like more than 20 times now, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun to listen to. You guys are awesome. And I thought it was very, very sweet what you did for Amy for her birthday. I thought that was really cool. Hopefully the cake tasted good.
Yeah, well, we had to do something since she actually came down on her birthday to do that, which was very nice of her. So we wanted to show our appreciation in any possible way.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And I'm excited to hear that hip hop number because that sounds like she had fun after she got over the nerves of doing it. It's probably going to come out sounding really cool.
Yes, actually, you'll be hearing it shortly.
I thought it was in season 3.
I think. What's that?
I thought it was in season 3, not 2.
No, it's in season 2. You're going to hear our Grand Council rap battle in.
Cool.
Looks like March 9th.
Cool. So
awesome.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh man. So okay, sorry, back to this. So we're watching this and all, and long story short, I spent 4.5 hours listening to that I get not clip because we got the whole thing, but that I've Got It Down sample and trying to figure out the lyrics. I spent 4 hours. I got 99% of it. Only one thing was missing. And Becca, tell them what you did.
And I watched it like 100 times, trying to figure out the visuals. And I couldn't. This was at the point where my vision was kind of going downhill and I couldn't really see what was going on, but I did the best I could, and so I would be like saying, well, Lauren, Issa and Elena just slid down the banister and they did this and this and this.
Yeah.
So, did you figure out? You were trying to figure out a lyric from "Got It Down"? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. No. That was me. I finally figured out. I got the whole thing down. Pun intended.
Got it.
It was something because I got everything except for the jewel thief thing, and then I finally figured it out. It took me 4.5 hours to figure this out, and I was very dedicated. I was like, I will do this. Wow. I will do this. So Becca, go ahead. You can tell me your story because she didn't get a chance to last time.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So I have a story that goes along with Home for Good. That song, that episode actually came on a week after I had cataract surgery. And when you have cataract surgery, normally you're over it in like a week or two, but when you have when you've had any kind of trauma to your eye, like I have, it takes a lot longer to get over it. I'm actually still dealing with it. There are some complications. But that song just totally got me through the surgery and through recovery of a month-long recovery. And I remember watching it, and it was a week after, and I couldn't see what was going on. But I just remember just that episode was just so special because it gave me something to, to look forward to while I was, recovering. And I still, to this day, listen to Home for Good every day. And yeah, and it's just, it's a comfort.
Well, and go on, I'm sorry.
And I just want to thank you for that song because it's an amazing song.
Well, I'm so happy that it helped you through that particular song. Also have to thank John Cavanaugh, who writes the music, and also Kaida Pambara, who was the co-wrote the lyric with me and was the writer of that episode. Mm-hmm. That song is, I've collaborated with John Cavanaugh and the staff writers who serve as lyricists on their episodes. Mm-hmm. For a number of years now, and John and I have co-written hundreds of songs at this point, and that one's really special. That was a really, really, there are songs you hear and you go, wow, that's a really moving song. He did a really stellar job, and it's so well performed. So even without the visuals, you can feel the emotion in that song. Oh, yeah. And I'm glad that you did. I'm really happy to hear that. I'm glad that I'm also glad that when we. When I hear something or we hear something, we think, wow, that seems like a really good one. Is that really good? It's always good to hear someone else back that up.
Yeah.
To go off of what Becca said about Home for Good, it's helped me a lot as well, especially when I've gotten triggered in grocery stores by a certain aroma. That's helped me calm down and kind of refocus and realize that I'm obviously okay and nothing is happening as my mind kind of thinks it is, if that makes any sense. Go ahead.
What happened? What do grocery stores? I find grocery stores can be very intimidating.
Yeah. Okay. No. Okay, so I'll explain this to you, and I've never explained anything like this outside of Becca and a little bit for Kate. So you are getting privy to something that I'm being very brave right now, and you're awesome. So I trust you. So pretty much, I don't know what it is. So I don't know what the name of this stuff is, or whatever. I don't know cleaning product, what they're called or whatever. But there's this one cleaning product that every time I smell it, it reminds me of the operating room. It brings me back to, being there and how helpless I felt and, how, afraid I was and, all that, bad stuff that, goes along with it. And that's been happening a lot lately because they, it's not their fault. I mean, they use it. They have to use it to clean certain things. But what happened one time this was a couple months ago, we got a cashier who did not know me very well, because I go there a lot, so I know some of them, but I guess they had gotten a new one or someone was substituting, and they used it, and I was about to ask them to, just to wait a minute, because I was just going through and I was going to be leaving, and I guess the woman, like I said, she didn't know me, she didn't know anything about me, and she mistakenly thought that I meant that I thought it was going to harm me in some way, that it was something, it was gonna, I don't know. But the next thing I know, she shoves it under my nose.
Oh gosh.
And I started shaking and I actually started crying, and I don't usually do that with that for the most part, give or take, obviously, depending on how bad the trigger is. And that's what happened. I was I'm thinking, why would you do that? And I mean, logically, I knew she had not meant to do any harm, but at the same time, when you're in that state, your mind, you can't think logically at that present time, so it's kind of all I wanted to do was run and get out of there. So obviously we left, and I was waiting for a bus because I take a special transport bus here. So I was waiting for the bus, and I'm sitting there outside on this bench, and obviously I'm still pretty upset, and I'm sitting there shaking, and I'm crying, and I pulled out my phone, and I went for Elena's Mommy's Lullaby first, because that's another one that's really soothing. I'm sure you know that because obviously you wrote it, or if someone, I guess, did you write that one?
Which one? The Lullaby?
Yeah, Mommy's, her Lucia's, yes, that one.
The one from
Island of Youth.
That one?
Yes.
That was actually, I think, primarily written by Becca Topol, who wrote that episode. Cool. I might have thrown a word in there, but I think she did that one pretty much on her own. She was a writer season 1.
But yeah, so I used that one first, and then I went to Home for Good, and I think I listened to Home for Good that for the next hour after that, because it took me an hour to really calm down from that, and usually that's not how long. Usually it doesn't take me that long, but it depends. And like I said, that was just really bad, because it's one thing to have it pass through, but it's another thing to have it shoved directly. It kind of went to all my senses, and I just didn't really know how to just kind of, it was bad. But yeah, so that song really got me through that, and I love it. I love the song is what I'm saying. It's incredible.
Well, thank you, and you're gonna make John Kavanaugh's week, maybe month. I'm gonna see him later today at a song record, so I'll be sure to pass these stories along.
But one other thing about that, and this has nothing to do with me, it has to do with the song itself. When I first heard it, and I realized that obviously Elena was singing with her, it took me a second to realize that, I guess, because there were new songs to us at that point. So when I realized that, it made me really admire her even more so, if that's even possible, than I already do, because I was thinking to myself, her mommy is not coming back. And she's standing there, and she's doing this with her, and really trying to be happy for her that she is getting that chance. And inside she must be thinking, darn it, why did it, Issa and I, why was she taken from us? But on the outside, obviously she was just, pushing that down and just being strong for Naomi. I was like, that is a good friend. She is incredible.
Yeah, it's a very good point. And then, Elena, that's one of the sort of themes of the show, is how she deals with the loss of her parents, but we do it in very subtle ways. It's not always on the surface. Just actually, I have to clarify. I mentioned that air date of 3/9. It's actually 3/10, March 10th, that you're going to hear Elena rap.
Are you allowed to reveal the episode title at this point?
I don't see why not. It's called Shapeshifters.
Whoa. Okay, because we know we're getting. You can correct me because I read this somewhere, and I'm hoping that I'm getting and telling you the right information and not saying anything that's unintentionally a lie. But Rise of the Sorceress on March 3rd or 4th or whatever that is.
I have it as the 3rd. Okay. All these things are subject to change. The reason I don't always tweet about these things until they're announced by the channel is because they can change their minds and they don't tell us. Yeah. So I see them. Yeah. I see dates on reports, and then then sometimes the dates just change. So it's not as coordinated as you might believe, but yes, my understanding is that Rise of the Sorceress will air on March 3rd.
I have a very bad feeling about that. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that by the end we're going to be crying. We're going to want to hug Elena and hit whoever did what I think is going to happen by the end of that episode.
You should have a bad feeling about that one.
Okay, yeah, really. Oh, jeez. No, I'm excited we're all excited for Science Unfair. We want to see Christina again.
Yes.
And we're just excited. I'm excited. Becca and I are especially excited for the sister duet, because we have a feeling that it's going to be a situation where Issa waits till things get out of control, and then she's like, okay, I'm going to go get Elena. What, you waited for this long to get me? What, remember what I told you? What?
Well, you'll see what happens. I don't know if it plays out exactly like that, but Issa in that episode definitely has a lesson to learn. There are a couple episodes in the first half of this season that deal with that primarily with Issa and her sort of being a science prodigy. Or just growing up. We had Three Jacquelines and a Princess, which dealt with her sort of trying to take on more responsibility. Now we have Science Unfair, which sort of shows her more scientific side again. And then there will be another episode this spring or summer that focuses on her sort of picking up not exactly where this one where Science Unfair leaves off, but something happens at the end of Science Unfair that then leads to what happens in that future episode. So there will be a couple of episodes focused on Issa, just to break up what overall is a serialized story about Elena and the villains that are lined up against her.
Is it called Class Act?
It is. Is that announced already?
You might want to check some things, because I don't know how these are getting leaked. I just found that somewhere, and I wanted to make sure that was the right thing.
That is, I can confirm that. I think sometimes the actors post.
It wasn't Jenna.
The actors, but certain folks post up on IMDb.
Yeah,
before
that's
they
what
should.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And the issue with that is that sometimes things are aired out of order. Mm-hmm. Not always. In our case, right. we can't air most of our shows out of order, but some of them are going to be aired out of order. Intentionally, because they don't always get produced in the order they're going to air. And so what happens is if they get posted online in that order, then people think that episode's happening at that point, and it's actually quite difficult to get them to change those numbers once they've been assigned on IMDb. So I always try to tell everyone to please wait until it's coming out, but they don't. It's been an issue with Sophia. And now on Elena, but it's fine. They're excited, and I can't begrudge them that.
Yeah, no, definitely not. So how'd your son's recording go? If I may ask.
Great. Which one? The song?
I guess. Whatever you were doing that first time we recorded.
Right. It's hard to remember, but my guess is that, my son Desmond is one of the 3 baby Jacquins that we met recently, along with Mario Lopez's daughter Gia and our voice director Sam Riegel's son Max. They're the 3 Jacquins, and there's an upcoming show in season 3, so that won't air until 2019, where they do sing a song, and it went great. It was really fun. He took a voice lesson and everything, and he practiced. And the song now, the vocals are all done. We haven't recorded the final music yet. The musician, the final arrangement's not done, but the vocals are done, and they're adorable. All 3 of them. And Gia is a really naturally gifted singer.
I cannot wait. We can't wait to hear that. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
the way
she is adorable.
Yes, she is. So I was very proud. It was of Desmond. He also came back and had an episode where he had a lot of lines. I think between the episodes, he might have 40 lines in one session, which is a lot.
Wow.
And he powered through it. So it was very exciting. Now, they don't show up. They're not in a bunch of episodes. So it's I don't know the next time I'll see him, but it's been fun.
So do you read for him? I'm sure he can read on his own. I mean, he's like, what, 9, 10, maybe?
Yeah, actually younger. I should know how old he is. He's about to turn 8.
I'm sorry. I just figured. So do you read the line before his so he can get to know what's going on, or is he able to do that on his own?
That's a good question. It varies. I probably say the line out loud or tell him what it's about, but he can read. So, it's, I think it was more like that maybe the first time we did it. Mm-hmm. And now he'll read the line and I'll say, yeah, you're thinking this. But, I think ultimately a lot of times it boils down to, us telling him, okay, this is how the line should sound, or try it like this. And, but there have been times where he just does it the way he wants to do it right off the bat, and it's really fun. It's great to be surprised by an unexpected line read.
Yeah, no insult meant. I mean, I'm sure he's awesome and smart. I just didn't know, thought. Yeah. So, all right, Becca, go ahead.
A lot of times with young children that aren't doing it often, it's a lot of repeat after me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, Becca, good. You have the first question, then I'll do the second. And then, Kate, you can tell him your Mateo story.
Great. Let's go.
Okay.
Recording?
Yes, we are recording.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I just didn't know.
Okay. My first question is, do the scripts ever get changed during recording? Like, are there lines that get changed while the actors are recording?
Yes, we do change the lines during recording sometimes. I would say that most of the lines that are written are recorded. Every once in a while we reach a line that either isn't working for whatever reason, sounds a little awkward when it's said out loud by the actor, or they find a way to say it that sounds more impactful, or there's a joke that's not working and we do a quick punch up on the spot, or we try and see if we can beat whatever's on the page. So we like to give the actors a certain amount of leeway to to have fun, but it's infrequent, but it does happen.
Okay.
Like a couple times a script, basically, is about how often it happens.
So can I make an educated guess here and say that Carlos Alazraqui, I think is how you pronounce, God forgive me, I have no idea how to pronounce that guy's last name, is the one that does a lot of improvising in Yvette Nicole Brown?
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. He does a little bit. I would say that Yvette Nicole Brown does more. Okay. And Jess Harnell, who plays, Yvette Nicole Brown plays Luna.
Yes.
Jess Harnell, who plays Chief Zephyr and also King Hector, does more than them. But King Hector's only been in. He's been in one or two episodes. He's going to be in a couple episodes coming up in season 3 again.
No, please don't tell us that we don't like him.
Yeah. But Jess is a very talented voice actor who's been doing it for a long time. So even though he's playing a villain, he becomes goofier as he goes, I think, in the show.
Oh my.
So he's already kind of a goof.
One of my favorite things Elena has ever said was in Royal Retreat when she had that sword or that knife that she used, and I don't mean it like that, but I just wanted to kind of set the scene where she was finally getting one up on King Hector, and she's like, I don't need to be one of the kings, I'm going to be queen. I was like, yes.
That was we really liked that moment too, and but Hector is definitely a villain, but he's the kind of villain where you meet people with that personality. I have at least similar personality where they think they're hilarious, but they're really pretty offensive.
Yeah, really.
And he does make a return, but then he also meets a character who, besides Elena, who's kind of meets his match. He meets his match, but I'm not going to give any more than that.
That's going to be cool.
It's but Hector gets everything that's coming to him.
Oh yes.
He's not in the class of he's not a Malvago or anything.
No.
Either way, we do try to let the actors have fun when they come in.
Oh yeah, no, and Jess is awesome. He's great. I know we weren't. He's awesome. But okay, so my first question is this: kind of going back to the beginning, and then we'll jump back into Elena. I promise. I just didn't get a chance to ask you this the first time. What was your upbringing like? Like, did you watch a lot of Disney movies, animated shows? Did you draw? What was your? I'm sorry. Right. You're right. Geez, sorry. What was that like? If you don't mind me asking.
I read a lot when I was a kid. I read a lot of science fiction, a little bit of fantasy, literature, but I also, in terms of what I watched, I saw, grew up on the Disney movies. I grew up, on the Don Bluth movies. I was a really big fan of Secret of NIMH when I was a kid. That movie really moved me. Even earlier, Snoopy Come Home showed me that animation could actually not just be happy, but also have these really bittersweet moments too. I recently went back and watched Snoopy Come Home and realized that about 25 to 30% of that movie is literally kids crying or Snoopy crying. They cry for a quarter of that movie. They're just literally flat out crying. I didn't realize. I'm like, wow, this isn't bittersweet. This is downright sad. But it's very funny to go back and watch those classic movies like that. And and then of course there was there were the classic Disney movies, and then there was the sort of resurgence, with Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and all that. Yes. And so, but I was already kind of in my teen years at that point. So I was still enjoying them. I really enjoyed when I was a kid comic strips. That was like one of my big loves at the time. And when I was growing up, Doonesbury and Bloom County were strips that I read every day as a kid, believe it or not. So, I was always interested in the sort of the medium of the art and writing, where art and writing meet.
Oh, yeah.
But then I went to film school, and then I started, going down a road of being a live action screenwriter for many, many years. And then eventually found my way back to animation.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome. So one other thing, and then Kate, you can go, but you said something, Craig, that made me think of one more short thing. Now, I know Elena books are out there. I mean, I've read some with my phone. I will, had the phone read them to me. I have, whatnot. But I was wondering, and Becca was too, so this is kind of both of our thing. Would you ever consider writing Elena novels, still keep them where you want them, but at the same time so anyone, because, with a novel, I could pick that up, with my phone or with, or download it, obviously pay for it, but download it on the computer and read it just like anyone else would be able to. Well, I mean, I would still use a screen reader, but what I'm trying to say is that it could actually allow us to be able to read her story and actually be able to be equally involved in what you guys are putting out, rather than these comic books where we can't read them. We have no idea. We kind of miss out. The Song of the Signorina is coming out. I would love to read that, but I know I won't be able to.
Right. Well, I mean, that would be wonderful if there were. I mean, it's great. It would be great to be able to expand upon the story that's on the screen and write it down. It would just be a matter of who would have the time to do that and whether or not they would publish it. They're very particular about what they publish, but yeah, sure. I mean, I would love that. I would love to do that, but they seem to be, very set in terms of making, picture books, because the main audience is young, and but that doesn't mean the will isn't there. So I hear you. It would be great.
All right,
it would be.
Kate, you're up. Go ahead.
All right, well, Lauren, you actually inspired me, because now there are a couple of things I want to say. Do you, Craig, have a favorite Disney movie or TV show?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's so many of them that I love for various reasons. Mm-hmm. Are we including, is it just Disney, or is this Disney and Pixar?
Yes, Pixar's allowed.
Pixar, we'll include Pixar.
What's that?
Pixar's allowed.
Pixar. We like Pixar.
I'll separate it out, I guess. I would say that probably, my favorite Disney animated movie probably would be The Lion King. If I really, Beauty and the Beast was fantastic. There are others I really like. Pinocchio, of course, is a classic. And Sleeping Beauty is beautiful. But The Lion King had just a great story and great songs, and had it all really, really powerful, moving theme. Not Toy Story. I love Toy Story, but for Pixar, Finding Nemo was that was the movie I saw that made me realize that even though I had been trained as a feature screenwriter for live action films, and even though I didn't draw, I felt like, that screenplay, that feels like something that I understood. I understood how that worked. It moved me. I understood that it was written like a live action screenplay. That's how it felt. And it really changed my mind in terms of, previously, because I took an animation course in college and was not very good. I felt like, to be an animation, really, you have to be able to draw and be an animator or be an artist as well as a writer. And after Finding Nemo, I realized, it felt like they were looking for working with classically trained screenwriters. And so, those are the two for me, the top, Lion King and Finding Nemo.
Oh, all right. Finding Nemo is good. I still haven't seen Finding Dory, though.
It is amazing.
Finding Dory had some really wonderfully moving moments. There are some great scenes there. I would recommend it.
I have. I bought it, and it's lying around somewhere, but I never actually opened it.
You need to watch it in descriptive, though, because that'll give you more, because Kate can't see it all.
Inside Out was also really, really good.
Yeah.
As well as Coco, but they're both,
Yes.
Great. Pixar's a great track record.
Now you just made me think of something else, Craig, but Kate, go on, finish what you're saying.
Craig just made me think of 100 more things.
No.
So I'm trying to restrain.
Well, you'll have to cull it down, because I do have to go into a meeting shortly.
Yeah,
I know. I want to, before you go, I want to tell you my Mateo story. I don't have a big, important story like Becca or Lauren, but it just is kind of noteworthy. Whenever I am talking about Mateo, in conversation, I always refer to him as my man. And it's not just that I like him, but there's a specific reason for it. Well, seeing him in, say, Secret of Avalor or Spellbound, which is, both of those are places where you really get to know him, he seemed kind of, he's got this kind of nerdy, adorable quality that I really like. So I would call him my favorite nerd. But then I realized, no, I can't do that, because I'm also a very big Ninja Turtles fan, and my favorite nerd has, of course, always been Donatello. So, I can't cheat on him. So I started calling Mateo my favorite magically adept nerd, and man. So now I call him my man.
Well, he is getting better at magic, that is for sure, but he's still a nerd. That is, he's a magic nerd, if there's such a thing, and that will never change.
Well, I've always loved that type of character.
Yeah, he's apparently, you're not the only one. There's a lot of fan art I've seen revolve around Elena and Mateo. And of course the ongoing debate about whether Elena and Mateo will wind up together, or whether Elena and Gabe will wind up together. And of course, if you ask me that question now, I'll say, Elena has more important things to worry about than who she's going to wind up with. But that doesn't mean that the speculation isn't fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not. It is a lot of fun, even if you have, a ship that people don't necessarily. Well, anyway, point being, it's fun. But
absolutely, it's fun for us too, because we can just have certain things happen, and we know that when people see that, they'll be like, "Oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? Wait, he touched her shoulder. What does that mean?"
No, I mean, we can't remember with Overall Story, because obviously I can't see what's going on anymore. Becca, she still can to an extent, but it's like we go more for like the story. Like for me personally, I love obviously the music, and I'm about to ask you something you probably can not say anything about, but I'm going to do it anyway. But I love the music. I love the overall story. But I'll tell you, if I had to pick a favorite aspect of the show that I could just hands down say I would watch that, nonstop if I could, it would be Elena and Issa's sistership, like their bond. Like I love that.
Well, that's that. Yeah, yes, that's a a part of the show as well. A lot of her, obviously, a lot of what happens with her revolves around her friends, but we do like to come back to her and Issa, and there will be more of that in season 3. There's as we get through season 2, it's more about Elena and Shariki and some other characters that we meet along the way, and just sort of moving this overall story about Elena sort of growing and learning as she waits to see what this test is that she's going to have to face in order to become queen, the prophesied test. And we also give some other characters some, Luna's going to be featured in the show coming up. We have, Mateo again, Naomi. So, we have a lot of characters, but we won't forget Issa. Oh,
awesome. So are we getting a soundtrack this month or next month or sometime this year at all?
I have no idea.
Okay.
That is something they I don't really hear about it until they send me a bunch of tracks that have been mastered for release and say, oh, can you listen to this? And that's usually like right before something's going to come out. Up until that point, they don't share their plans, and I'm usually too busy making the show to even ask. So I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, no, I was just curious because I love the music, and I just thought, we all do, all three of us do, and I just thought, but
I wish they would release everything.
Me
but
too.
They're very particular. They tend not to release more than a couple of soundtracks for each series, and then they make them parts of compilations. I would love to just go and just post all the songs on SoundCloud and say, hey, listen to them anytime you want, but I have a feeling that I would get a phone call within 24 hours.
We would love you. So, I mean, we already respect you, but that would be so cool.
Yeah,
so
maybe someday. I think about it, though. I would love to release everything. Yeah. And I've asked them to, hey, just put it on iTunes, put everything on iTunes. How much could it cost just to put a song on there? But they, again, that's a different division. They have their own reasons for doing things, not doing things. And all I can do is tell them what I'd like and tell them what I think the fans would like and plead my case, and then respectfully let them do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So I hope so. I'm hoping to. Let's hope together.
So there's
I have to go in a couple of minutes. So did you have any last questions?
Go ahead, Becky. You can go ahead.
Okay. What advice would you give for someone wanting to be a screenwriter?
Well, there's a lot of advice I would give, but the first advice I would give is to start writing and keep writing. I think there are books you can get that help you with format and structure. I think, studying films that you really like, and especially studying the screenplays, because, a lot of screenplays you can find online is a good thing. The one thing to remember is that, by the time a screenplay has gotten made, that screenplay has been probably written by many hands a lot of the time. Sometimes it's just the original writer, but even the original writer, things changed over draft over draft over draft. So the thing about writing is that what writing really is rewriting. You write it the time, and then you write it a million more times, and it seems obvious, but when you're in it and you write your first thing, you're like, okay, I worked so hard, this is it, it's done, it's great, and then you find a bunch of reasons why it's not as great as you thought it was. And so it really just is about practice. It's about honing your craft, honing your art and to craft, and like anything you do, like playing an instrument, you just have to keep doing it to get better at it. And I had some good initial success in terms of the first screenplay I wrote in college got optioned by Disney, actually, of all people, a couple of years after I got out of school. But, I got an agent and out of school, and then I rewrote that script with them for 2 years before it was good enough to be, optioned by Disney.
Right.
The truth is, though, is that, I wrote, I occasionally worked here and there, but I probably wrote at least 15 screenplays before I was working as full-time as a writer.
Wow.
So, it can take a while, especially, and the thing is, had I, had stuff purchased or worked on before that time, sure. I had some positive encouragement here and there, but I still kept writing a new script over, year after year to get better. And, and then eventually you hope that when you do get that break, you've become good enough or you've practiced hard enough that you have some idea of what you're doing, and then all that hard work pays off.
Right. Yeah. I'm an author, so I know all about rewriting.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There's one more question, then I have to go.
No, we've really enjoyed having you on. Like I said, I'm glad you were able to come back again, and I'm glad it was this soon, but not for the reason because I felt bad, but I was like, I gotta say something that it messed up. But everything should be fine this time. We double record it in 2 different ways, so we should be good.
Fantastic.
So, but anyway, this isn't really a question as much as something I wanted to tell you that really impacted me that you actually said yourself. I was listening to the acceptance speech that you and Sylvia gave it for the, I hope I get this right, the National Hispanic Impact Awards. Hopefully I got that right.
Yes.
And
there was the, it was the, that's right, the NHMC Impact Awards. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you said that Elena is more concerned with building bridges with her neighboring kingdoms than building walls to keep them out. And I'll be honest with you, Craig, that has stuck with me ever since I heard it. And I think it was a couple months ago, maybe, that happened. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was more than that. But I could not get that out of my head. And it was just awesome. And it's so true. And I hope you put that in the show subtly. I hope she actually enacts that, acts upon that, and through her action shows not just kids but adults how to just accept people, and it was not long, but doesn't mean you got to shut them out. I mean, there are ways to work with them and to bring about that positive change, and who knows what else could happen, in a good way. But I just wanted you to know that really did stick with me, and it was incredible.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that. I mean, it's something that, we're trying to do with the show is, provide much needed representation for the Latino audience that's watching, kids and adults, but also to, give other audiences from different backgrounds a chance to see this culture and also to see these Latino characters as heroes and in a very positive light, that you kind of, I said that in that particular speech. I've talked about, I think at one point or another, that, we all have more in common than we have apart, than we have differences ultimately. And so, that's one of the goals of the show is to build a bridge between cultures to I think that's how the world becomes a better place, and it's nice to be able to work on a show, with Sylvia and the other talented folks here, to try to have a show that can make that happen. Hopefully, make that happen. That can hopefully make a difference, and sort of in a way that entertainment can do, sort of kind of provide an example of how, we could all be a little better off by, seeing the best in one another, no matter where we come from.
Oh, yeah. But thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us again.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys for having me on the podcast. It was a real honor and pleasure to be here, and I'm thrilled that you are doing it.
Yes, it's fun.
Oh, it is.
All right. Well, thanks again, and I look forward to hearing what you all think about the upcoming batch of shows. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming up.
Oh, yes. We'll let you know.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Have a good rest of the day.
All right, you too. Thank you. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.